yourselves in and stay locked right here because this is a massive one. Manchester United squad have arrived at the American Express Stadium ahead of their final Premier League clash against Brighton and Hove Albion, with Michael Carrick preparing for his first match since officially signing a 2-year deal as permanent head coach at Manchester United. This is the last 90 minutes of the 2025-26 Premier League season. And while United have nothing to fight for in terms of their own league position, the final game of any season matters. It matters for momentum. It matters for the standards Carrick is setting about how this club approaches every match, regardless of what is already secured. And it matters for Brighton, who need a win to guarantee European football for just the second time in their entire history, with a Champions League place theoretically possible if 3 other results fall perfectly in their favour. Carrick made his position clear at his pre-match press conference. "We are approaching the game as we would any other game. There is a lot to play for Brighton, and we are well aware of that." The new permanent manager in his very first game in that official capacity is not arriving at the Amex to manage the clock, rotate 18 players and wave the season goodbye. He is arriving to win. Because that is the standard he has set since January, and that is the standard he intends to maintain from this game forward into pre-season, into the Champions League, into everything that follows. The team news and the squad picture heading into today's match are straightforward given the circumstances. Casemiro is not here. He said his farewells at Old Trafford last Sunday when the 3-2 win over Nottingham Forest became the emotional send-off that 160 appearances for this football club deserved. The standing ovation as he was substituted off. Carrick's tribute. 67,000 supporters on their feet for a player who arrived from Real Madrid in 2022, having won the Champions League 5 times, and who gave everything to Manchester United across 4 seasons that were defined more by chaos and disappointment than by the glory he had been accustomed to. He is heading to Inter Miami. A new adventure, a new chapter. And today his name is absent from the team sheet for the first time in months. It was decided that last week would be his last game, Carrick said with characteristic warmth and characteristic precision. It just felt the right time for Cassie, and he was part of that decision as well. He has been fantastic, and I have said a lot of things about Case and how well he has done for me since I have been here and for the whole club. The right time, the right send-off, the right way for a legend to leave. Benjamin Sesko is a doubt for today with the shin problem that kept him out of the last 2 matches. Carrick confirmed there is nothing new in terms of injuries and that the squad is pretty clear in terms of availability, which suggests Sesko's involvement, if any, will be limited and carefully managed given the importance of having him fully fit for pre-season and the Champions League campaign ahead. Matthijs de Ligt remains unavailable, having undergone back surgery, extending an absence that began all the way back in November, and that has been the most persistently frustrating injury management challenge of the entire season. With nothing at stake for United in terms of league position, Carrick has confirmed he will hand opportunities to young players in the matchday squad. Shea Lacey, Tyler Fletcher and Jim Thwaites will be involved, giving the next generation their chance to experience what a Premier League matchday feels like at a club of this size and with the expectations that Champions League football next season creates. These are moments that stay with young players, the same way Carrick's own career was shaped by the specific environments he was exposed to at formative moments. Giving academy players time in the sun on the final day of a successful season is exactly the kind of management philosophy that builds long-term loyalty and long-term development. Manuel Ugarte or Mason Mount will partner Kobbie Mainoo in the double pivot with Casemiro absent. The contrast between those 2 names illustrates the complexity of the summer planning ahead. Ugarte expected to be sold, his time at United having never delivered the performances his price tag demanded. Mount attempting to show he still has a future at the club despite injury-ravaged years that Gary Neville this week described as grounds for using him as a trading piece in a bigger deal. Both players carrying different kinds of uncertainty into a game that represents potentially their final appearance in a United shirt before the summer reshapes the squad entirely. Bruno Fernandes carries the most specific and the most exciting individual target into today's match. 20 Premier League assists, the record equalled Kevin De Bruyne, Thierry Henry, Fernandes alongside them. But 21 is there to be broken today if the captain can create one more goal, set up one more teammate, produce one more moment of the specific creative brilliance that has defined his entire season and earned him the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year award. The specific fact that Fernandes registered an assist in the FA Cup match between these two clubs earlier this season at the Amex adds an encouraging historical footnote to this pursuit of history. Brighton know how dangerous he is from personal recent experience. Whether knowing it translates to stopping it is a different question entirely. Fernandes at his best in the final weeks of this season has been the most creative and the most decisive midfielder in the Premier League, and there is no logical reason to expect that to change in the final 90 minutes of the campaign. Brighton, under Roberto De Zerbi's successor, are playing for something real today, and the specific stakes on their side of this fixture make the Amex atmosphere significantly more intense than a neutral end-of-season contest would generate. A win today guarantees European football without needing any other results to go their way. 3 points could even deliver Champions League qualification if enough results across the league fall perfectly in their favour. A scenario that is unlikely but not impossible, and that gives every Brighton supporter in the ground an additional reason to create the kind of noise that turns this specific stadium into one of the most unwelcoming away venues in the Premier League. Danny Welbeck is the danger man in a very specific and very personal sense for United supporters and players alike. 400 Premier League appearances is the milestone the striker reaches today, and his record against his former club is extraordinary. 8 goals against United in all competitions. A player who departed Old Trafford and found renewed purpose and renewed productivity at a succession of clubs, each time returning against United with something specific to prove. Carrick will have addressed his defenders about Welbeck's specific movement and his specific danger in the air and in behind, and keeping the veteran striker quiet will be one of the primary defensive tasks of the afternoon. The broader context of today's match extends beyond the 90 minutes on the South Coast. This is Michael Carrick's first game as officially confirmed permanent Manchester United manager. 2 years plus an option to extend, the contract signed this week, the announcement made, the transition from interim to permanent complete. Every tactical decision he makes today, every substitution, every team selection, every conversation with his coaching staff on the touchline, all of it is now being made by the permanent manager of Manchester United rather than the interim custodian waiting for a verdict on his future. That specific shift in psychological status matters in ways that are difficult to quantify but easy to feel. The freedom that comes from knowing this is not a job interview. The authority that comes from having the contract signed and the hierarchy aligned behind you. The ability to plan with absolute certainty about who will be in the dugout when pre-season begins, when the Champions League draw is made, when the first competitive match of next season arrives. Carrick has been operating with that freedom effectively since February, when the results made his continuation inevitable, but today it is official and permanent and contractually documented. The transfer stories building around United this week reflect the scale of what the permanent appointment unlocks. Ederson very close. New contacts between United and Atalanta this week to close the deal. Sandro Tonali described by Gianluca Di Marzio as Carrick's personal #1 target with a good chance the deal goes through. Maxi Araujo exploratory talks confirmed. Leao available at 43 to 51 million. Strahinja Pavlovic with United at the front of the queue. Gleison Bremer with a £50 million offer being prepared. 150 million euros of midfield investment targeting Ederson and Tonali simultaneously. The summer that follows this game at the Amex is the most significant transfer period this club has embarked on in a decade, and everything that has happened since January under Carrick has been the justification for making it as ambitious as it is. The farewells are being said this week and will continue on the final whistle today. Casemiro is already gone. Malacia confirmed as leaving. Ugarte expected to follow. Xerxes heading to Roma. Rashford's Barcelona saga approaching resolution. The squad that Carrick inherited in January, the one he moulded and shaped and improved and motivated into Champions League qualifiers, is about to undergo its most significant transformation since Ineos took over. But before any of that, Brighton away, final Premier League game of the season. Carrick's first as permanent manager. Bruno Fernandes, 1 assist from history. Young players being given their moment. A squad that has delivered beyond every expectation, stepping onto the South Coast grass one final time before the summer changes everything. The Amex is ready. Brighton need this win. United have their own reasons to perform, and the permanent manager of Manchester United is in that dugout for the first time officially, bringing the same standards, the same preparation, and the same quiet authority that has defined every game since January. Let us finish this